Every morning feels the same. The same coffee, the same screen, the same clock counting down the hours. I'm not miserable, but I'm not alive either. I'm somewhere in between, surviving, showing up, but quietly wondering, is this all that there is? I haven't quit my job yet. I'm not working from the beach or chasing my dream full time. I'm still here, sitting at this desk, clocking in, and trying to remember what this all was for. But lately I've realized maybe this middle part of the story matters just as much as the ending. Hi, I'm Max Marie, and I'm just a girl in corporate desiring more, still unsure of what that even looks like. If you're in the same boat, grab a snack, get cozy, and let's talk about it. Because I believe when we talk about it, we feel less isolated. You're not alone on this journey, and I'd love to create a community of people who desire more. So let's get into it. So let's start with a little backstory. These emotions and these heavy feelings didn't start within my 9 to 5. I actually had them before I even started college. I always had that quiet uncertainty of what do I even want to do? But the pressure from family, society, and the fear of not having a stable life pushed me towards the safe route, which was going to college and ultimately graduating. I remember being so excited to buy my first suit, line up some big girl interviews, and really start feeling like I was reaching towards the life that I wanted to build. I kind of started to buy into the facade of the American dream of going into corporate and being successful, being the powerful business lady that you see in the media. That's what I wanted to be. And I believed that I could achieve that and that would be my story. So I still was unsure of what I wanted to do. So I chose my major as entrepreneurship because even before college, I've always had this desire to build my own business, be an influence to the world of just building something more and being creative. I don't know what that looks like at this moment. I've tested out a few different things. In college, the big dream was coffee and creating such a cozy coffee shop, and it has evolved a lot as I've gotten older. I kind of like the idea of creating like a little cat cafe, of just creating like cozy little lattes, a cozy environment, and then having like a room with just cats and books. But I was told by professors, even family, that this degree was not stable, that it would not launch me into a fulfilling career that brought stability, wealth and success. And honestly, I believed them. And I had this one story of this college professor. He told me that I was never, ever going to find a stable job outside of college and that my chances of becoming employed were going to be very, very slim because employers are looking for very hard technical skills like finance, accounting, blah, 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 marketing. So that instilled a lot of fear in me and instilled a sense of I need to prove him wrong, which also led into the desire to continue going in that direction of corporate America. So I finally graduated. While I was in college, I built up my resume doing different admin roles, some billing, all of that fun stuff to gain some skills to launch myself into corporate America. Again, I had no clue what I wanted to do. I just listened to people around me of the fact that finance, accounting, that was all going to be very stable. And honestly, I was so proud of myself that I graduated. Went through a lot of hard things in college. Yeah, I was just so proud that I made it. And I was on the other side of that really hard time where I was going to class, doing homework, and also working a full-time job. It was really, really difficult. But even in those proud moments, I still felt this little voice in the back of my head saying that there has to be more than this and that this isn't what you were meant for and this isn't what you were created for. But I told myself that maybe once I get into the real world, it'll be better. I'll have money coming in. I won't be doing homework after work. I'll just be able to relax and it'll all be good, right? So, a few months after I graduated, I got an accounting role and I was so proud of myself. And honestly, at first, I loved it. I loved meeting new people. I loved the happy hours. I loved feeling like this bad bitch corporate girl, living that success story that I was telling myself in college that I would get. I don't even know how to explain it. Just the idea of going into the office and being this corporate baddie and amazing female leader was what I wanted to be so badly. Slowly but surely, I started to see behind the curtain of what was really going on. I felt like I had gotten a job at a great company, that really cares for their people, that really wants to do good in the world. And it is kind of when I started more of that, still that startup feel instead of like this massive corporation that I think definitely helped to get to the point where I'm at, where I have a few years of experience. Again, I started to notice things behind the curtain, and the work slowly piled on as I continued to perform well, and like the days just began to blur together. I just wake up, go to work, come home. I'm too exhausted to do anything to pursue my dreams. And it just continues on. Slowly but surely, of course, burnout crept in. Like I said before, before I even started college, I was like, I do not want a traditional office job. But then as I got into college, I started to buy into that dream that kind of was never mine in the first place. So just that frustration started to creep in of I never even wanted this, and it became a weight that I started to carry every single day into work. Just the dread of waking up every single day and having to do it all over again. There's really no breaks, there's no rest, it's just get up and do it again. And something that bothers me every single weekend is the Sunday scaries that start on Saturday afternoon. I don't know how to bypass that. It's just like looking at this mountain of the week ahead and all that I have to do is so daunting. It's like there's really no end to it. When you were in college, you would have breaks. You had summer break, winter break, whatever. You could see that there was an end to what you were doing. But when you're in corporate, it's like, okay, so this is just it? I started to have this feeling of I feel like I have so much more to offer this world than just sitting at a desk for 8 hours a day, drinking caffeine and crunching numbers. I feel like that thought stays in my head for like 90% of the day. And then I just continue to, I don't want to say gaslight myself, but tell myself, oh, this is a good company, these are good people, it's safe, just stay, it's okay, and just build a long-lasting career. But it's such a strange feeling of everyone telling you this is what you need and this is what you want, and still feeling like you're losing yourself in the process of all of the endless tasks, all of the meetings, putting on this mask of who you're supposed to be at work. And some days I wonder if someone had told me it's okay to want something different, if I could have built success in a different avenue, in a different way. But the beauty of it is that there's still so much time and there's so much to look forward to. And that's a little bit of what I would like to talk about on this channel of just what do you do when you're in the middle? What do you do when you still have bills to pay, you still need to eat, but your body and your soul is screaming, I can't do this anymore. I can't keep showing up, giving my best work and just being rewarded with more work. Honestly, I don't have an answer at this very moment in time. I am working on an exit strategy to get out of this path that I've been chasing for a long time. And there's so many emotions that come up with, oh my gosh, like I am moving on to something else in that fear of, can I even make it on my own? Just all of these emotions come up when you start to think about exiting. And also, like, the identity that you've built within this life. I remember telling my therapist, I was like, if not an accountant, then what am I? It's just so crazy how much of my self-worth and my identity I have tied to this avenue of it's just meant to pay my bills, you know? So again, I don't have a perfect answer, but in future videos, I would like to dive into my exit strategy and what that will look like going forward. I have run through this exit strategy so many times in my head on paper and just tried to come up with the perfect way to leave corporate America. But at the end of the day, there is no perfect way. There's no way for this exit strategy to be an end all be all for everyone. And even for me, I'm still so like, what am I gonna do? But I do think it has to align with your passions and your desires of what do you want to do? Do you want to be a painter? Do you want to be a content creator? Do you want to live a happy life and just do Uber? I don't know. But in the meantime, I would love to share my story and hopefully inspire others to go out on a whim and at least just try. So, in the midst of all of that I deal with on a daily basis, I'm still choosing to hold on to hope. I'm still choosing to hold on to the dreams that I had when I was younger and the world felt like my oyster and I could do whatever I wanted to do because, they tell us in school, you can do whatever you want to do. But it's just over time, those dreams have felt like they've been crushed by bills and burnout and the cycle that continues to go every single day. So yeah, I'm choosing to stay creative, to build my exit strategy, and to believe that this version of me in the middle, it still matters. That Hannah Montana quote of, it's the climb. It's the climb, baby. That just ties into my fears of I used to think I had to wait until I had this wonderful success story of building a good business, content, whatever, before I could say anything worth sharing. But that honestly is just not real life. It's not going to be polished. It's not going to be, again, this wonderful exit strategy, and it's not going to happen overnight. But real life is showing up tired and still dreaming. And it's crying on your lunch break, but then filming your YouTube video that next night. And it's staying soft when the world tells you to be hard. So maybe I don't have a success story yet, and maybe I'm not at the ending, but I still believe that I will get there. I'm learning that it's okay to share from the middle of the journey because that's when connection happens. So if you're watching this and you feel that same ache, please just know that you're not alone and you're not behind. You're just becoming into your next chapter. So it would mean the absolute world to me if you subscribe to this channel. I also have another channel where I do a lot of fun activities. I read Reddit stories and do my makeup. I test different products. I do decor hauls, just fun stuff that doesn't remind you that the world is kind of crappy sometimes. So it would mean the world to me if you went and subscribe to that channel as well. With all of that being said, I hope you stick around for the journey. I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!